Hello, everybody. Welcome to historic Virginia Union University here in Richmond, Virginia. We've got great weather outside and we got great atmosphere inside. We'd like to welcome you to this press conference today. I'm Jim Juneau, the Sports Information Director. You're going to be hearing from our Athletic Director, Mr. Joseph Taylor, and he will introduce our new head men's basketball coach. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Joe Taylor.
It's amazing what training would do. At football, we were just the opposite. Great job, great job. We can put the broom away. First of all, let me start by thanking the media. I know that this is a big day in Richmond. The Squirrels have their home opener. And I know how big that is. And of course, we wish them all the success in their season. But for you to take time out to come out, first of all, last week at our first annual Jamboree, we appreciate the coverage there. And that is so appreciative. And please know how much we appreciate it, and we thank you for it. I want to thank the search committee. Tireless effort, a lot of passion. We had 135 resumes for this job opening. It lets you know what a great tradition this particular job is. 135 resumes. That was reduced to the top 5. We used pretty much the same process in terms of what we were looking for. We knew what we were looking for. We knew what this entails, because it's not about just, some people think winning just takes place on game day, but winning takes place every day. And we wanted someone that could come in here and make sure that our student athletes on a daily basis were making good decisions in the classroom, in their social life, and certainly things that they would do in their sport. And this, of course, we're talking basketball. I would like for the committee to stand. I'm not going to call your name individually because we're going to move forward, but please know how much we appreciate you and all that you did. Very diverse, student athletes, alumni, administration, faculty, and of course, athletic administration. And I also want to take this moment to thank a very special person. We have a treasure right here among us. And every time I called, he just allowed me to use him as a sounding board. And whether it was late at night, early in the morning, or even if he was on vacation, he talked to me. We have a great treasure here. And I just want to thank Coach Dave Roberts. We couldn't talk him out of retirement, so we had to go forth. But please know, Dave, how much I just appreciate you. The respect is just extremely high, and thank you. The other thing, gentlemen, we just need to say real quickly is that this thing called coaching is, in my mind, the greatest profession there is. And it's, in my mind, at that level simply because of what it enables you to do on a daily basis. It takes a man to raise a boy into a man. And normally there are 4 influences that creates that. First, fathers. But most, 3/4, or should I say 3 out of every 4 individuals that come to us to be coached, did not have a father in the home. That influence is gone. The second influence is that teacher. But we know, I was up in DC a couple weeks ago at the National Press Club. A stat came out that only 37% of African-American young men graduate from high school. So the teacher influence is not there. The third is the church. And when we attend church, most of us young people don't. But when they do, it's mostly women or ladies in church. So that influence is gone. The fourth influence is coach. If a young man won't go anywhere else, he'll go to practice. And being that is the case, it's important to have the right coach when he gets there. Someone that can translate and develop and give him the tools that he needs to be successful as a person, as a student, and as an athlete. We, as a committee, with our orderly process, have found that man. When we looked at all of the resumes, all 135, when he made the top 5, I called him, and he had to step out because he was in the gym with his players. That's the kind of guy he is. And when we continue to look at the resume with stops, when I say resume, I'm talking about body of work, the experience that has gone into his development and leadership. He's been a successful coach at the high school level, winning state championships. He's been successful at the junior college level, winning championships. He's been successful at the NC2A Division II level. He's been successful Division I AA, where he was Coach of the Year. He's been a champion and winner at the 1A level with stops at the University of Miami. And of course, he also coached at Florida State. His resume, by far, was the strongest of all of the candidates. What he has been able to do in building his resume has prepared him for what we need here at Virginia Union at this time. He is prepared because, you know, Coach, the expectations are very high. Very high. And we're not trying to get back to uncharted territory or uncharted waters. We've been there, right, Dave? You set the bar high. And we appreciate that for letting us know what can happen here. And the expectation is we will be back. With the recommendation from this committee and with the approval of our president, Dr. Perkins, I now present to you the next head coach for the Panthers of Virginia Union University, Coach Sheals.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it fits. Looks good. Feels good. Well, first of all, I want to give honor to God, and because He's my Savior, He's my all in all, and that's why I breathe, and that's why I live, and that's why I'm here. My wife is not present. I want to thank her for everything that she's done. She does for me and allowed me to travel and go about. We've been married 30 years, and you know, when you're in the coaching profession or in any profession, it's hard to be with someone for 30 years. So I'm happy for that, and my children, I like to say, I'm proud of them and what they've accomplished. I would like to thank Dr. Perkins for first of all, having the confidence in me and believing that, you know, I could be the leader of this fine institution and these young men. Mr. Taylor, Joe Taylor, the athletic director, I'd like to thank him for believing in me and having a vision, the same vision that I had. And last but not least, the committee, who was very astute on what they were looking for, and they were very thorough in what they did, and I appreciate them. As I look around the room, I am humbled. We played Virginia Union this year, and I looked up in the stands and I saw Dave Robbins. I came up, I introduced myself. I told him that I've been a fan of yours for years. I've been in the coaching circle for 32 years, but never had the opportunity to just personally come up and thank him for what he did for the game of basketball. Not just at Virginia Union, but the game of basketball. With class, with integrity, and with pride. And if I can do half of what he's accomplished and done, then I've done a great job here. But I want to thank Dave and let Coach Robbins know that that we're going to take this baton and we're going to take from the past of what you've done, and we want to make sure that all the former players and all the ones that have been a part of this program, they come back and they know that they're welcome. I am a Panther. I'm a part of Virginia Union University, and my players and I, when we go out on the court and we go out on the battlefield, we're going to be representing Virginia Union University. And with that representation, we need the same support because our players and our staffs will be working just as hard to make you proud and to make you happy. And at the end of the day, to come back with what everybody wants. We want to be champions, but we not only want to be champions on the basketball court, but we want to be champions in life. And the worst thing that can happen to our young men is that they graduate from college. And that's our goal. That's our what we got to make the commitment to their parents, that we got to make them students first and then athletes second. And we're going to have a fine program. As I look back in the rear, I see some of the basketball players that's here, some of the team members, and I'm excited to, as soon as this meeting over with, I'm more excited to meet with them and to talk with them and to find out what are they thinking, what are their ideas, where are they academically, what are they doing in the classwork, who we have is to be a part of our team, and to also get them to understand that, not that it's a new day, but it's time to get back to where we were, and it's a process, and we got work to do, and the work will start very soon.
We'll open up now for questions, Q&A.
Fred Jeter, Free Press. Coach, I know you're from Florida. What do you see as your recruiting honey holes?
Well, I worked at Towson University in Baltimore, Maryland, and I worked at Delaware State. So being in this region of the country, I've had an opportunity to recruit DC. I had one of my players, leading scorer, all MEAC for 2 years. He's from Fort Lee, Virginia. So I have ventured into this area, but our recruiting area is going to be our home base. Our home base is the state of Virginia. We want to do a great job in the state of Virginia, cultivate the high school coaches, cultivate our own and our kids here in this area. Second of all, we want to venture out in the Tidewater area and make sure we do a good job there. And then we will look at DC, Baltimore. But you know, any coach that does a good job and worth his salt, he's going to go back to his roots. And yes, my roots is Florida and it is the South. And we will be recruiting in that area to make it a part of what we do. And so we're excited to get started. I don't even know my own team yet, so other than watching them on film and playing against them. So the first thing I want to do is get with those guys and get with them tomorrow and find out what we need to do to help them to get to where we want to get and we all want to get with bringing in more talent.
Coach Reggie Howe, Sports Talk. Follow up on the conversation you started about the community. How can the community help you as far as cultivate the school to get the brand out as far as Virginia Union from a historical point of view?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, the first thing is the brand is easy. You know, I talked to kids. I had a 2.5-hour drive here. I talked to 2 kids from Chicago. I talked to a kid from New York. Talked to a kid in DC. I was on the phone with another kid who's from he's from Nigeria, but he's down in the Bahamas, and just trying to cultivate. But Virginia Union, the brand is there, so it's an easy sell on the brand. As it relates to cultivating it, I think within the community, I think that our kids got to be ambassadors for this university, and we got to be out in the community, and we got to do community service. My staff and I will do a good job of making sure our young men got to give something back, because sometimes as an athlete, they given scholarships, they given opportunities to get a free education, but they got to understand that they are they represent us every day. And so we on the road, and that bus is going down the road, and has Virginia Union on it, and we go into a restaurant, or we go into a store, or whatever we do, we're representative of this community. So we will be involved in Thanksgiving, bread baskets, feeding the homeless. We'll do whatever we need to do to be sure that the community knows that Virginia Union and the city of Richmond is this city's team.
Follow-up, Coach, again, when you walk into this library and you see those national championship trophies, it's kind of intimidating when you say, Coach, but I'm just saying that when you walk and you see the history, and again, from an HBCU point of view, Virginia Union represents HBCU. How does that make you feel that this man is on your shoulders?
Well, I tell you what, it makes my job easy, because when I walk a kid in the gym, I was fortunate enough to work at Florida State, and we walk in Cameron Indoor Stadium. I'd never been there before. I look at Cameron Indoor Stadium as being the Barco, Stephen. That's I see that facility, and I see what we're allowed to do. I see 20 CIAA championships. I see national championships. I see Ben Wallace picture. I was fortunate enough to coach in the MEAC also. When I walked in North Carolina A&T, there were 11 banners, 9 straight championships sitting up in their gym. That history right there allows you to recruit players, because players want to know what tradition that you have. Have you won? Have you done that? And when those banners, they represent success. They represent excellence. And that's what I'm all about, and that's what we want to be. So if kids want to come here, when they see those banners, they will know that the excellence is what we're about. And then when they feel that experience, and they experience what we're going to offer them as a Panther, then it takes care of itself.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, it's late in the year. As far as recruitment is concerned, I believe, but I'm not sure. How does that affect you starting off what I would call late?
I don't think we're late, but because the signing date, April 15th through May 15th. And the Division II calendar is a little bit different from the Division I calendar. Being a Division I coach, at this time, we better have our players already in line and have the guys that we want. But at our level, first thing I'll be looking at the transfer list, and looking at guys who are at the high major Division I schools who are looking for another opportunity. That's my first. My second thing is go look at all the teams that played in the Division I and Division II national junior college tournaments, and to see the players that will be available from there. Because every kid dream, first and foremost, is to play Division I. We're fortunate enough to play in a Division I league, even though it's Division II. We got Division I talent, but we're in a Division II league. So people know that this league is comparable to most low major Division I leagues. And so with that, it's an easy sale, and it's not a late start. I think we're early, and I'm glad to get started right now.
Coach Robbins was here for 30 years. Do you have any idea how long you made?
Well, I'm looking at Dr. Perkins. I'm looking at Dr. Perkins, and I'm looking at Mr. Till. I think that might be a question for them. But seriously, if I do my job, and my job, number one, every coach, everywhere you go. When I was at Florida State, they want to win a championship. When I was at Miami, they want to win a championship. When I was at Townsend, win a championship. FAMU, win a championship. Bethune-Cookman, win a championship. Palm Beach Junior College, everybody wants to be a champion. So it doesn't change no matter what level you are at. It's the same thing. You want to be champions. But at the end of the day, there's only one team crowned in every division of basketball. Division I, Division II, 3, NAIA, junior college, only one champion. And that champion, is going to be the only team, the last one standing. So the pressure with that comes with the job. It comes with the territory. I told my wife when we left high school, I had a vocation. Now I have an avocation, because it's a different situation. So I said, baby, we're going to be fired. We're going to change jobs, but because we got in this arena. So I've been fortunate and I've been blessed to be in this arena for all these years, and that comes with the territory. And I think these shoulders are big enough to stand on its own, and I'm not intimidated by it. What I do is I embrace what Coach Robbins has done. I embrace those championships. I embrace the national championship. What I need is those players and those student athletes that was a part of those championships to come back, show us how it's done, work with us to get it done. Put in your dollars, put in your resources. If you want it to be done, then you got to walk the walk and talk the talk. And we just asking you to be a part of it. Give us a chance. Because, you know, these kids need to know the history of this institution and the games that we won, the championship we won. It just can't represent a banner. They got to know the people. They got to know the persons that were a part of those championships. Get to know them intimately. And that's what we want to bring back. And when we start there, we bring this family back together.
Coach, you have some thoughts on assembling a staff?
Yes, sir. We've been in prayer, and we got quite a few people that's excited about being a part of Virginia Union. My phone been ringing off the hook. I do have some people that I got in mind, but I don't want to mention those people right now because they all have jobs, and we want to make sure that it's a fit. What I want to do is, from a holistic approach, that my background started from a spiritual institution just like this, Bethune-Cookman College. And it has the same background as it relates to the church and the community and how these things tie together. So I want to make sure that whoever I hire has the same spirituality, has the same, not just as a coach, but as a human being. And he has not just basketball in his mind, but he has that spirit within him that lives every day. And it precedes anything other than basketball. It can carry throughout this university and this community. So those are the guys I'm looking for more than anything else. But also, I know I need players, so he better be a good recruiter.
Coach, you got to beat your rival. Who's your #1 rival, Coach?
Virginia State. You know, I've done that in the past. So Bethune-Cookman, FAMU, Florida State, Florida Gators. So we're excited about that. I talked to a guy named Floyd Lazier who coached against Coach Robbins. And Floyd is a personal friend of mine. He's a coach against Coach Robbins. He beat him one time in about 8 to 10 years. So we got to get that same thing going. So they don't have a chance. And when I was at Bethune-Cookman, they called me the Rattler Killer. We were 12-2. So whatever that mascot is of Virginia State, that's what they want to be. I'm wherever the killer they are.
Trojan killer.
Trojan killer. That Panther gonna get on their back. Sean. Excited here? You know, as I think about things and I look at this audience and everything, you know, the guys who are the most important people in this room is the basketball players. They're in a transition stage. They got a new basketball coach. They're not sure of me. They're not sure of themselves. They don't know their future. They're looking at, you know, what's going to happen with them. I'm excited more than anything else. As soon as this over with, I want to meet my team. I want to talk with my team. I want to talk with my players because, you know, we got to build that foundation. And whatever we do and however we get this thing done, it's going to be those young men that we already have here. And we got to find a way to include them and make them inclusive. And we're hoping that these guys embrace, because as a coach, the hardest thing to do, it's easy to stand up in front of you guys. But when you stand up in front of your team for the first time and you meet these guys and you listen to their stories and you find out things about their lives, you know, do they have a father, do they have a mother, how challenging it was as they grew up. So those are the things that I'm looking forward to. This right here is easy.
If there are no other questions.
I would like to thank everybody for coming out. Please show up at the games and support us in every way that you can. And Coach Robbins and I, you know, we'll be the best of friends, and we're going to start that this evening. Thank you.
Thanks so much again for coming, and we will be available after we adjourn for personal individual interviews. I had one other thing, but the young man just prefer to have a photo shot. We was telling, in fact, all of the coaches, and of course Marcus Hodges, the guy who played center for me when I was back here in the 80s, send checks with no numbers on them. But we just feel great about the future. I tell folks all the time, every morning I get into my car, I notice one thing, that the windshield is a lot larger than the rear view mirror. We're not looking back. We'll check back, but we're not looking back because the future is too bright. And we're just excited about this thing. Each day I just get more and more excited. Resources are coming in. Folks are just getting, we're on our way. Thanks for coming.